Chris is right. When you show up at the office, sometimes you don't know what you're going to end up with, and it's kind of a leap of faith every time you sort of bare your soul to somebody that you don't know that well. And every once in a while, though, it works out. I went to the office one day, and I was coming out of my office, and coming out of the other office was this guy named Alan Reynolds, and he had with him a guy that was in a 10-gallon hat, kind of like Aaron has, and a duster, and the pressed Wranglers and the boots, and I thought, heck, Alan's working with John Wayne. I didn't know John was singing. Turned out it was a guy from Oklahoma named Garth Brooks, and Alan said, hey, I might be working with this guy. He didn't know at the time whether he was going to do it or not, but he said, I might be working with this guy, and he's pretty good. You might want to get together and try to write with him. Usually when somebody says that, I go, nah, I don't think so. But this is one of those rare times I actually listen to somebody, and it turned out okay. So one of the days we're working on a song and start talking about our lives, and I tell him about my high school sweetheart. Any y'all been to your high school reunion recently? Anybody? Surely you have. Somebody's been to their high school reunion. Yeah. It's not pretty, is it? It's not pretty. I went steady with this girl all through high school, and she was a wonderful, wonderful girl. But I was a mill kid. We were called lint heads. We worked in the cotton mill. Her dad was a prominent attorney, and she was a debutante, and she was about to have her debutante ball, and her dad said, "You're not taking that guy," and they made her break up with me. And I thought, this is going to kill me. I mean, I really just got really upset about it. I said, I started going, God, I got to get her back. And finally, after about 6 months, she told her dad she was going to date who she wanted to, and we got back together. But then we graduated from high school and went to Atlanta to college. She went to Emory, and I went to Georgia Tech. And when I got to Atlanta, I realized there were a lot of girls in Atlanta. I didn't know what to do, though. I didn't want to break up with her and break her heart like she had done me. So I introduced her to one of my friends. And they're still married today. But sometimes you just go to show you can want something bad enough that as soon as God's not, when God acts like he's not listening, he really is. That's where this song comes from. Just the other night at a hometown football game, my wife and I ran into my old high school flame. And as I introduced them, the past came back to me, and I couldn't help but think of the way things used to be. She was the one I wanted for all time, and each night I spent praying that God would make her mine. And if he'd only grant me this wish I wished back then, I'd never ask for anything again. Sometimes I thank God for unanswered prayers. Remember when you're talking to the man upstairs, just because he doesn't answer doesn't mean he don't care. Some of God's greatest gifts are unanswered prayers. Can I get an amen? She watched it quite the angel I remembered in my dreams, and I could tell time had changed me, and her eyes too it seemed. We tried to talk about the old days, there wasn't much we could recall. I guess the Lord knows what He's doing after all. And as she walked away, I looked at my wife. Then and there I thanked the good Lord for the gifts in my life. Sometimes I thank God for unanswered prayers. Remember when you're talking to the man upstairs. Just because he doesn't answer doesn't mean he don't care. 'Cause some of God's greatest gifts, some of God's greatest gifts are unanswered prayers. Sometimes I thank God for Garth Brooks too. Thanks very much. Thank you.
I think that's one anyone would wish they had written. Yeah.
You bet.
Yeah. So, how did that? I mean, I know that came from somewhere, and and I understood the story. How did you start it?
Well, he and I were we just had a 6-month period where everything we did sort of worked, and we had a conversation, really just had a conversation, and we started writing the conversation down and realized all we needed to do was rhyme it, and,
yeah.
The truth sometimes is the most interesting thing you can say,
Yeah.
Sometimes we look for outrageous ideas to write songs about, but usually it's the thing that's the most common thing.
Yeah, man. That is a beautiful song, really. Every bit of that song is relatable. I used to date this girl named Madeline Schutte, and she was really sweet and all that stuff, but the chemistry just wasn't there. And I did introduce her to Charles Bates. And again, they're married today, and I'd go visit them, and I didn't have any visions of me and her or anything. I mean, it was
cool, man.
Yeah, it was just it's a nice thing.
Did they know you were visiting them?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I'll just making sure.
That's a fair
I mean, I didn't.
Fair question.
That is fair.
Restraining orders don't restrain like they used to.
No.
I'm just saying.
No.